Long ago, there was a peaceful kingdom surrounded by green hills, clear rivers, and wide golden fields. The people were happy, and the land was rich with forests and flowers. In this kingdom, a baby princess was born. Her name was Elowen. On the night she was born, the palace was filled with joy. Bells rang, candles glowed, and everyone celebrated. But suddenly, the sky turned dark. A strong, cold wind blew across the land. From the deep forest came a powerful witch named Morvara. Morvara had once protected the kingdom's ancient magic. She cared deeply about the forests, the rivers, and the old traditions. Years ago, the king had promised to protect the land and honor its magic. But as time passed, he became busy with power and wealth. Trees were cut down. Old forest paths were destroyed. The rivers were no longer respected. The king forgot his promise. Morvara felt hurt and angry. She stood outside the palace gates, raised her staff, and spoke a curse. "If the king has given silence to the earth," she said, "then his daughter shall know silence too. She will never have a voice. And when she turns 18, the entire kingdom will fall into a deep sleep." Thunder roared in the sky, lightning flashed, then the witch disappeared. From that day on, Princess Elowen could not speak. The king and queen were heartbroken. They called the best doctors in the land. Wise healers traveled from faraway kingdoms. Powerful magicians tried to break the curse with spells, but nothing worked. Elowen remained silent. As she grew older, many people felt sorry for her. They thought she must feel lonely and weak, but they were wrong. Because she could not speak, Elowen learned to listen very carefully. She watched people's faces and noticed their feelings. She understood when someone was sad, even if they smiled. She noticed when someone was afraid, even if they stayed quiet. Her silence made her kind and wise. The people loved her even more. On the same night the curse was spoken, something strange appeared behind the palace, a beautiful but frightening place called the Glass Garden. Inside it, every tree, flower, and bird was made of clear, shining glass. The trees looked real, but felt cold and hard. The roses were lovely, but had no smell. The birds were frozen in the air, unable to move. No one dared to go inside. Years passed, and Elowen grew into a gentle and graceful young woman. Then her 18th birthday arrived. That night, a soft silver mist slowly spread across the kingdom. At first, it looked magical under the moonlight, but soon, something terrible happened. One by one, people began to fall asleep. Farmers in their fields, merchants in the market, children in their beds, all closed their eyes and could not wake up. Inside the palace, the guards fell to the ground. The servants dropped where they stood. Even the king and queen fell into a deep sleep. The curse had returned. Only Elowen remained awake. She walked through the quiet palace, her heart beating fast. She tried to wake her mother and father, but they did not move. Fear filled her heart, but she did not run away. Then she saw a bright light shining from the glass garden. With courage, she walked toward it. As soon as she stepped onto the glass path, the air turned cold. The glass trees began to whisper softly. From the center of the garden, a tall, dark figure appeared. It was Morvara. Her eyes shone like ice. "The time has come," the witch said. "The king broke his promise to protect the magic of this land, so I gave him silence. Now his kingdom will sleep forever." Elowen felt afraid, but she stood strong. Morvara raised her staff again. "But I will give you one choice. You may speak one word, only one. If you speak for yourself, your voice will return forever. You will be free from silence, but your kingdom will stay asleep. If you do not speak, the curse will continue, and everything will slowly fade into darkness." For the first time in her life, Elowen felt a voice rising inside her. She imagined calling her mother's name. She imagined laughing out loud. She imagined singing songs in the sunlight. Her heart ached with the wish to speak. No one would blame her if she chose herself. No one would ever know. But then she looked around. In the glass trees, she saw reflections of her people, children playing, her father smiling proudly, her mother holding her hand. Tears filled her eyes. The garden became completely silent. "One word," Morvara said softly. Elowen closed her eyes. She thought about love. She thought about kindness. She thought about the broken promise. Then she opened her mouth and spoke her very first word. "Forgive." Her voice echoed through the garden like a bright bell. Suddenly, cracks spread across the glass trees. The crystal birds shattered into tiny pieces of light. The ground shook. Morvara cried out as the darkness around her began to break apart. The silver mist above the kingdom disappeared. Across the land, people slowly opened their eyes. The king and queen woke up. The guards stood again. Children rubbed their eyes in confusion. The curse was broken. The glass garden began to change. The cold glass melted away. Hard crystal trees turned into real trees with green leaves. The scentless roses became soft flowers with sweet fragrance. Real birds flew into the sky and began to sing. Warm sunlight filled the palace grounds. Elowen felt her voice fade once more. She could not speak again. But this time, she did not feel sad. She had saved her kingdom. When her parents found her standing in the beautiful living garden, they understood everything. The king wept and remembered his forgotten promise. From that day on, he protected the forests and honored the rivers. The old traditions were respected again. Morvara was never seen again. Some say her anger disappeared when Elowen chose forgiveness. Princess Elowen never spoke another word, but she did not need to. Her actions spoke louder than any voice. When she became queen, she ruled with kindness, patience, and wisdom. The kingdom became peaceful and strong once more. And in the center of the palace grew a beautiful living garden, a reminder that forgiveness is stronger than anger, and that true strength does not always need a loud voice.